You know, I always say to take rumors with a grain of salt, but Moore's Law is Dead has been pretty on the money with his leaks and rumors. And the latest from him includes a rumor or a leak that the PlayStation 6 is coming and that it's going to be quite powerful. But in addition to the PlayStation 6 console and what we're going to talk about in just a second, there's also a PlayStation handheld being rumored as well. So, like I said, this comes from Moore's Law is Dead. And I'll link to the full videos in the description below so you can watch his full content. But WCCF Tech had a pretty good breakdown about what is going on here. PS6 performance estimate puts it around a 9070 XT level, while Xbox Next is around an RXT 5080. RDNA 5 has more features than Blackwell. Oh yeah, so within the PlayStation 6 rumor and the PlayStation Next Gen handheld, there were also some details about the next generation Xbox console. Let's dive into the specific points that I decided to break out here. So first of all, this is from YouTuber Moore's Law is Dead, and he shared some estimates about the PlayStation 6's rasterization performance, suggesting that it would be 3 times as fast as the base PlayStation 5, which would put it around the levels of NVIDIA's GTX 4080. Now, he talked about it over in this, they broke it out in this other piece. They did it like 6 different articles about his video. Anyway, PlayStation 6 and PlayStation handheld specs leaked rasterization performance estimate to be 3x and 0.5x of the PlayStation 5 respectively. Now, here's the thing about next-gen consoles, and this includes Xbox, this includes the PlayStation 6. I think that all of this is very interesting to people who care about the minutiae, the small details about the leaps that we'll get for the PlayStation 6 and whatever the next Xbox ends up being. But I do not think we will ever again see the sort of performance jumps like we did from Nintendo 64 to the PlayStation, things like that. So all of these are going to be sort of minor, and I will be more interested in seeing how the game developers are going to leverage any of this new tech to truly deliver something that blows us away. Let's continue on. Later, the same YouTuber commented that the performance uplift during ray tracing operations will be much higher, between 5 and 10 times as fast as the base PlayStation 5. So now, Kepler L2, another well-known leaker over on the, I think he's either on NeoGAF or Reset Era, I can't remember which one. But he's also sort of chimed in with some thoughts that corroborate what Moore's Law is Dead is saying. He compares it closer, however, to the RTX 5080, which I don't know about that, but he says the next generation Xbox will be slightly more powerful with Kepler L2, comparing it to NVIDIA's GeForce 5080. Now, we do know that the next generation Xbox was supposed to be the most powerful thing on Earth here, but I mean, a 5080? That's a significant jump from where we're at today. And my point stands about those leaps anyway. Both consoles will be powered by AMD's RDNA 5 architecture, which Kepler L2 reckons will be the largest architectural overhaul since the graphics core Next era. So some pretty impressive stuff being announced and teased here by these two people who probably know more about tech than they do know more tech than I do. And they also said the following about the Microsoft console. Microsoft did promise its fans a year and a half ago that the next console would deliver the largest technical leap ever seen in a hardware generation. Considering these consoles are still 2 to 3 years out, we may have to wait a long time to get the official specs. So PlayStation offering, crazy ray tracing based on these rumors and leaks, crazy ray tracing, just amazing levels of rasterization performance. Well, the 2 to 3 times the PlayStation 5 rasterization performance estimation has been confirmed by another person who's leaking it. Moore's Law is Dead provided some additional details on the system's ray tracing performance, saying that it will be 5 to 10 times the current generation system ray tracing performance. I mean, that's great. I mean, if you can do ray tracing and not drastically impact how the console performs, then, I mean, at the end of the day, that is a good thing. However, like I said, I do question what that leap will be like. The first game that I think really wowed people in terms of graphics was Death Stranding 2. I remember even playing through that intro section, and you have people comparing it to real life, and it's honestly hard to distinguish which one is real and which one isn't. If more games can do that, if more games can wow us like that, then I'm all for it. And I think the PlayStation 6 will make it easier for other games to do that. And hopefully they optimize ray tracing a little bit more. Now, they also elaborated that the Orion is the code name for the APU that will power the PlayStation 6. I told you we would talk about the PlayStation 6 and the handheld. Well, the Canis is the code name of the APU that will power the new PlayStation handheld. AMD leaker Kepler L2 confirmed that Canis is indeed the APU of the PlayStation handheld, adding that it has a monolithic design. Now, I don't really know what monolithic design means, but I assume big. Does it mean big? I'll be really, I like the PlayStation Portals design wise. I don't think they really need to rewrite every little detail about that thing. The design is great, and they've only improved the functionality. So I think a PlayStation handheld would be a really smart move on their part. Now, here's the official Moore's Law is Dead video where he sort of breaks it down. YouTube, let's see there. So YouTube sort of does that weird thing. But anyway, here are some details here. It has chiplet design with some mention of possibility using Navi 5. It has backwards compatibility all the way to the PlayStation 4. Of course, not the PlayStation 3. That's just not going to happen. Heavy emphasis on cost constraints. So they're going to try and keep power lower than the PlayStation 5 and reduce costs. Manufacturing plan, they're going to start building it in 2027, likely fall, with the early 2028 release. 168 watts TBP, 8x Zen 6 or later cores, 40 to 48 RDNA 5 compute units, 160-bit or 192-bit bus with GDDR7, and rasterization performance estimated to be 3x the PlayStation 5. So this is going to be a very easy sell for PlayStation fans, I think, because they're going to be really excited about anything that can boast drastically improve performance over any of the other platforms. Here's what he said about the handheld. And again, please go watch his video. It will be linked in the description below. It'll have a 3nm die. I was able to verify this in modern documents. So apparently he has some other documents where it's verified. It will have backwards compatibility. That's very intriguing for a handheld, all the way back to the PlayStation 4 generations, and it will play PlayStation 5 games. It includes a micro SD slot, an M2 SSD slot, that's good, haptic vibration, dual mics, and a touchscreen, so it'll have battery life of like an hour. Just kidding. Specifically, a diagram states that the USB-C port has video out capabilities. I mean, that's cool. If they make games that are exclusive to the handheld, at least you're going to be able to output it and easily capture it. Or maybe it's so that you can dock it to your television, very similar to what Xbox is doing with the ROG Xbox Ally X, where you'll be able to hook up something that makes it more powerful and output to your television. Manufacturing planned, same time frame, 2027, 2028, 15-watt TBP, 4x Zen 6C cores. I don't know what I'm just going to be honest. I don't know what most of this stuff means. I assume if you're watching and you do, this will be very interesting to you. 12 to 20 RDNA 5 compute units, 1.6 to 2 gigahertz, 128-bit bus with LPDDR5X 7500 plus, and rasterization performance estimated to be 0.5 above the PlayStation 5. That's great. And he, of course, did do an update on his show Broken Silicon, episode 231, and I will link to that also in the description. So as always, Moore's Law has a really good track record, so that's why I'm talking about this particular story. I'm not sure about Kepler. Kepler, I think he's had an okay track record, but I don't actually know off the top of my head the name. It's been popping up a little bit more lately. Moore's Law, though, he's popped up many times, and he's actually been dead on the money, like leaking documents and stuff like that. I don't know where he's getting them, but he's getting some good scoops there in terms of what the Pro could do, for example. That turned out to be true, and I talked about that story back in that day. What do you think about all this, though? Do you think that these leaps in graphical capabilities are going to be what's really interesting, because for me, frame rate with graphical capabilities is what's going to be the most interesting. And with these specs, that should be more possible, given the fact that they're talking about a more powerful GPU, probably a more powerful CPU, more RAM. It all points to better frame rates and a more stable performance. Let me know what you think. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know my content goes live. Thank you so much for watching. Again, go watch Moore's Law. He did some good work here. Thanks so much to the members, Chris Ferretti, Philaroni, Aries, as well as all of the members, Shane Carroll, who is our first Plus member over on YouTube. You can support at patreon.com/SaveStatePlus or by clicking the join button right down below. I'm doing a big video about Battlefield, but in the meantime, if you want to check out my Battlefield video, check that out, and I will see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.